Holla warriors, I thought that I would check in with you. I keep promising you a better view, so today I am doing this vlog from the comfort of my friend's house in Keon in the south of France. So, oh, I gotta watch this sun because it's very bright today. So behind me here are the Pyrenees, and she lives right by a river, and it's actually a lovely place to sit and chill out. And the people I'm staying with, Natasha and Cav, I've been friends with since I was, oh God, for about 27 years. So I went to work for Natasha when we went back to university when I was a single parent, my kids were babies. So I think my son was about 2 and my daughter was about 5. And I had to work 4 jobs. Well, I did a full-time degree, and one of my jobs was working for Natasha in her post office, which was at the front of her house. So I actually became like family very quickly, and she's been like my big sister. So coming out here, I've been a good holiday place for me to come to where I've been so ill for the last few years, because going on holiday for me gives me major anxiety. So to go away and have such stillness is just not good for me in my mind, and it makes me more ill. So coming here with people that know me and understand me and have known me for a long time is just really helpful, actually, because I don't need to make excuses for being as weird as I am at the moment. So it's been quite nice to come out here, because if I'm having a moment, it doesn't matter. I can have a moment. They are unconditional friends and they love me for who I am, and they've seen a transition with me over the last few years, and they just give me their full and utter support. So coming away for the week here is probably the best place that I could have come. So I'm going to tell you about my menopause meltdown at the airport. So I've never flown with any liquid menopause product. So previously, when I went on holiday, when I actually realised that all these symptoms and the anxiety was menopausal, which is when I started my vlog, which would have been 4 years ago, round about now actually, 4 years ago, early August. I was taking tablets, so they were easy, you can pack them in your bag. But now I'm on a different product, as you know, so I take estrogel and Utrogestin is easy as tablets, but also I take testosterone cream. So I've never flown with anything like that before. And if you've seen the size of the bags for hand luggage, they're about this big. So my menopause bottle wouldn't really particularly fit in it. We had to squeeze it in there. So as we're going in to check in to get through security, it says everything has to be in bags regardless. I've never taken medication, so I didn't know what to do. So I take my bottles out, throw the boxes in the bin, and then go up to check in. And then I say to the guys I'm checking in, can I not put this in separately, because this don't even fit in a bag? It means that I can't bring anything else through. So he said, well, have you got prescription? Yeah, it's in the bin down there. I said, it's menopause stuff. I cannot not take this. And thankfully, the lady was actually checking the suitcases for security and going through the x-ray. She kind of stood up behind him and said, oh gosh, I understand you, I'm on the menopause, I understand, go and get your boxes from the bin. So I had to run back through, get back through where I'd boarded, checked in my boarding, to get out to go into the bin. And again, I says to this gentleman in his 60s, I would say, oh, I gotta get my menopause boxes from the bin. So he got a lady to help me. It was actually, again, in her 60s. So I said to her, look, I cannot go without menopause product. I will be severely ill. I can't go on holiday. I'll have to come and not go on this flight. So she was just amazing. I understand. I'm going through the same thing. I'm on patches. I get it. So she helped me go and get my boxes to the bin, which meant then I could put the product through on his own, which wasn't then part of this bag. But that's something for me to let you guys know, because if you've never done anything and never had to take any product anywhere before in your life, how would you know what you need to do? Because nobody really tells you what you need to do. So I had a bit of a menopause meltdown at the airport. You know, I was almost crying, saying to my husband, if I can't come through there, I'm not going. I just can't go. And thankfully, there were quite a few women there who were, well, the 2 women, and the gentleman who I was dealing with was in his 60s. So my guess is his wife had probably gone through it in some phase, who were actually really, really helpful. But the first time in my life, I didn't care about making a scene, because usually I'm kind of a head down, don't want to make a scene, just get through it. But this was way more important for me because I couldn't have got on that flight without it. So I managed to get through. We got on the flight and we're out here. And as you can see, the weather is glorious because we're just about an hour from the border of Spain in France. So it's been lovely, and it's like home from home because working with Tash and Cav for years was like living in their house. So they've been my friends for such a long time. It is like family. So it is, I do feel safe. I feel comfortable. But what I want to say to you is it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing, the issues that go along with menopause just don't leave. So just because I'm not in my house and I'm here, it hasn't made masses of difference. I just have the same symptoms, just in another country. So I've had to keep myself busy. So we've been out to, we went to Mirepoix yesterday, and did some walks. We went out for a walk this morning. Me and my husband went out for a walk this afternoon as well, because sitting around is not good for me in any way, shape or form. My anxiety is probably at a 7 or an 8 on a daily basis. Thankfully, I haven't had any migraines out here since I've landed, so that is a bonus. But my palpitations and my panic attacks are not cute, which go along with, the anxiety. And I think that, I don't know whether it's because it's in familiarity, because I'm not in my own home, but yeah, it's still awful. It's still awful and life debilitating, I suppose, in so many ways. But the one good thing that have happened actually since I got on the plane like a moucher is, for the first time in 4 years, I actually finished a book. Now, it wasn't a big book. It wasn't anything of any interest, to be honest. It was a full cheesy book that I downloaded from Kindle. But I haven't been able to read for 4 years, which sounds crazy, but my mind will not allow me to read. So I'm dreadful at watching anything. So as I said about going to the cinema in one of my vlogs recently, that was a real anxiety buster for me. And I did enjoy the film when I went to the cinema, and I did have moments while I was in there. But since I've been on this journey, my mind don't stop to allow me to do anything. I just cannot concentrate to function enough on doing anything. So reading a book, which doesn't sound a lot to some people, they've been massive. They've just been a massive thing for me to start a book and finish it. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that I sat here and read it and it was an easy process, because I had days where I would still read the same paragraph over and over and over again, and I just wouldn't absorb it because my mind just don't allow me to. I just can't absorb things in the way that I used to, and it's just so frustrating. As a girl who didn't really need to do a lot of revision for any exams you've ever done in her life, all of a sudden not to have the capacity to absorb any kind of information is just really, really, really frustrating. But for me, it's like a massive milestone, and it's maybe given me a bit of confidence, because I have to do CPD as part of my job. Now, I read bits while I'm working more than I've ever read in my entire life. I probably read 6 hours a week, and that's being honest, because if I do anything, I make sure that I read to make sure that everything is 100% accurate. And the truth of it is, I know that it is, but I just lost that level of confidence in myself. And I said this to you, I hate admitting that I do this because it makes you feel like you're inadequate. But the truth of it is, I have to stop thinking like that, because it's not that I'm inadequate, it's because I'm trying to be the best at what I can be in the circumstances that I can be. So my CPD is much easier to do and document if you can do the online bits. So because you'll do an online element of something, and then you'll have some questions, multiple choice at the end, and you get your points depending on what you're actually doing. But I haven't been able to do that for years, 5 years, maybe 6 years, because I didn't realise mind at the time that was the issue. I just thought I was lacking confidence, but it's not that, it's the anxiety. And when I think I have to do something and I have to give a result, that also makes my anxiety worse. So I think I start off in a bad space before I do anything. So actually reading this book have given me just a little bit of confidence to try when I get home to see if I can do some online CPD, because that would make my life so much easier. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I'm not saying that because it's work related. Your body and your mind just don't absorb information in the same way as if it's something that is not important. But it's actually given me that confidence to try again. I downloaded about 4 weeks ago. I downloaded a CPD unit that I paid for and downloaded, and I've actually opened it and tried to go through it on 9 separate occasions, and I've managed 15 minutes maximum of watching it before I don't even know what's going on. And you can make notes as you go along, which is fine, but I can't even function enough to do that. And I think part of that is that I'm putting pressure on myself because it's like a mini test, I suppose, and nobody likes tests. And I think when we're going through what we're going through at the moment, it's just an added anxiety level for us. So for all that I've struggled, and for all that I'm still, I have got severe anxiety out here, and that I've had real bad panic attacks on a few occasions actually being out here, I do actually feel like I've achieved something. So that's quite a bonus actually. So when I get back to the UK, I have about 5 days before I actually go into work. So, or start work again. So I am really gonna give it my best shot to try and do some online learning. And I'll keep you posted on how that goes for me, because I'm sure some of you that are watching my vlog are in the same position as me, because whatever we do for work now, there's always levels of and elements of CPD that we got to do as part of our job. It doesn't matter what we're doing. And just for me, it's just the online learning part of things, of watching something, is a struggle. I can't even watch a movie. So I'm trying to watch something where I'm going to be sort of tested at the end of it, just adds that added element of anxiety on top of the anxiety you've got. So I'm actually hoping that I may be able to have a go and do that when I go back. So I will keep you posted, and I'm not, Rome wasn't built in a day, and I don't think I'm going to go back and I'm just going to be able just to do everything like I did before. I'm not under any illusions of that, but it's just given me a little bit of confidence to try again, because I just get frustrated at myself, if I'm honest. The more I can't do something, the more I get frustrated. So, and then the more it gives me anxiety, the more I get panic attacks, and the more I have a meltdown. And I just get into this cycle of not being able to function, and then to go back in to do it gives me anxiety, and I'm just in this constant blinking cycle that we find ourselves in, unfortunately, ladies. But I thought that I would just fill you in and say little baby steps. That's all we need to do, is little baby steps. So in 5 days, and don't get me wrong, me and my husband were laughing about this today. I used to read at least a book a day on holiday. When we went on holiday, if we went away for 2 weeks, I would read a minimum of 12 books in 2 weeks. But I've managed to read one little book in 5 days. So I'm not asking for a standing ovation, but it is a big step compared to not being able to read. So last time we were on holiday 4 years ago, when I started my vlog, I couldn't even read a paragraph. And like I said, at home, when I've been trying to do things, I haven't been able to function long enough to actually do anything. So I'm really hoping that this gives me a little bit of baby confidence, that when I go back, that I can start to do that. But I will keep you posted, ladies, and let you know I'm getting on. And I just want to say thank you again to so much for people who reach out to me, because it makes me realise why I do this vlog, and it makes it worthwhile for me. Because it's just not a nice place for us to be in. I'm not going to cry. It's not a nice place for us to be in. It's just a constant battle. And I never just thought my life would be like this at 49 years old, you know, that that I would struggle to function. It just sounds absolutely crazy. But unfortunately, it's what the menopause does to us. And what I will say is what I'm going on today. I here with my friend Natasha, who's a bit older than me. She's in her early 60s. And we were talking about my issues with food and swallowing and not eating because she was worried that I wasn't eating enough. And I was explaining to her my issue with food is being overwhelmed. So if somebody puts a big plate of food in front of me, I will initially think that I'm never going to eat that. So because I think that it's too much for me, I will have anxiety. I won't be able to swallow because that's what anxiety does to me. As I've spoken to you about, I struggle. I got this thing about not being able to swallow, and I won't eat. And she was saying to me that she's on HRT, she's on the patches, but she hasn't long started them because of their move out to France, etc. So I think she's been 3 months, and she said she hasn't really noticed a difference. But what Natasha said to me is she has issues being in large groups of people, so she can't go to the supermarket anymore. So going to the supermarket for her is a massive issue because it's just overwhelming. There's too much there, there's too many people, and she finds it an absolute struggle to go in and do that. Now, I don't leave the house, so I don't know how I feel in those circumstances because I honestly cannot tell you the last time I went into a real supermarket. My husband does all the food shopping, so it's not something, a position that I would voluntarily put myself in. But she said she would leave her husband. Quite often she'll go into the supermarket unable to cope. She'll come out and she'll just leave her husband with a list because she can't be around in there. So it is just interesting to hear how we all suffer in different variations, and affects us all of us. I think it affects in some way, but just very, very, very differently. So I'm quite proud of myself that I managed to read a cheesy book, and it was nothing of substance. It was nothing to, rot my wills or give me some knowledge of my mind, but it was a step, and one step is better than no steps. And as I keep saying, ladies, just baby steps. As long as we do baby steps, we're just making a bit of progress. So on that note, I will leave you with this beautiful view here, and say I hope you're all coping with this weather and everything that's going on, and the summer holidays. If you've got kids, grandkids, I just hope you're all coping. And as I say to you ladies, please, please be kind to yourselves, because if you're not kind to yourself, no one will be kind to you. And I just think it's the only thing that we've got is to look after ourselves when we're going through this, just to put our own mental health and welfare first. So on that note, I will say I'm going to leave you with love and light, and peace out.